It had been 6 years since anyone had knocked on my door without calling first. That morning, I was simply folding laundry near the window, the same way I always did, when I saw her, my old neighbor's daughter, standing outside my gate uncertain. Her name was Grace. She hadn't been on this street in over a decade. I hadn't either, in many ways. The moment I saw her, I felt time collapse. Grace had been a bright-eyed child when I moved in next door, and now she was in her 40s. She had always reminded me of the daughter I lost, though I never told her that. I rushed to the door, not quite knowing what I'd say. I opened it before she knocked. She smiled gently, nervously. "Hi, Mrs. Eleanor. I'm sorry to drop by unannounced." Mrs. Eleanor. I hadn't heard that in years. Most people now just called me Eleanor. The Mrs. had vanished with my husband. "Of course, dear. Come in," I said. "It's been a long time." Grace stepped in carefully, like she was afraid to disturb the silence of the place. I offered her tea and she nodded, following me into the kitchen without saying a word. The kettle whistled softly as she sat at the same table where her mother and I used to share Sunday stories. My hands trembled a little as I poured the tea, not from age, but from the rush of memory. She looked around, eyes scanning the shelves like she was searching for ghosts. "It hasn't changed at all," she whispered. "I guess I haven't either," I replied with a smile that surprised me. We sat. At first, we only sipped our tea in silence. Then she finally spoke. "I'm sorry I never came to say goodbye after Mom passed," she said, eyes welling. "You don't have to apologize," I said gently. "Grief doesn't come with instructions." She nodded. "I used to think about you. A lot. I'd sit in my apartment, staring at a blank wall, remembering how you taught me to press leaves in books, how you'd let me help bake even when I made a mess." I chuckled softly. "You never made a mess I couldn't clean up." That small sentence broke something open in her. She laughed, truly laughed, and then cried. I reached for her hand. It felt like the past reaching back for the present. We spent the rest of that afternoon walking through the garden. She bent down to touch the marigolds, just like she did when she was 7. "I didn't know I needed this," she whispered. I knew the feeling. I didn't realize how silent my days had become, how numb my world had grown without conversation, laughter, purpose. As the sun dipped low, Grace turned to me and asked, "Could I come again?" And just like that, the world shifted. My quiet house gained a pulse again. Over the next few weeks, she returned regularly. Sometimes with baked goods she'd ruined. Sometimes with books she wanted me to read. We sat, talked, cried. We laughed over silly childhood things, argued over recipes, planted new bulbs in the garden. Then came a day when she brought a photo album. Inside were pictures of her mother, her childhood, and, unexpectedly, photos I'd never seen of myself with her family. "I kept these," she said, "because even though you weren't my mother, you were something close." I had no words, only a hand to place over hers. For the first time in years, I stopped feeling like I was waiting for life to end, and started feeling like I was part of something alive again. Grace and I still meet every Sunday. We bake. We garden. Sometimes we just sit. Not every story needs to be grand. Some just need to be real. And sometimes, a quiet knock at the door is the beginning of the loudest healing.